Hey, it's the Political Brown Kid here, back with another dating video. I'm gonna do a review of this video. From this one female. She's basically talking about the struggle of dating, and she has made an observation of who's struggling. This is her own observation, so let's jump into it.
Went to brunch with a couple of my homegirls after church, and there were five of us. Four of us were black, one was white. And the four of us black girls were single, and the white girl is in a happy, healthy, thriving relationship. Her partner is Hispanic, and they have been dating for a few months now, but like the normal progression: met, hit it off, went on a few dates, got in a relationship, long distance right now, meeting parents soon. Like the normal. Okay. No gray, no limbo, no nothing like that. Actively dating, some more active than others. But nonetheless, single. But then we're kind of telling the stories of like the guys that we're talking to or have gone on recent dates with, and like these struggle stories are insane.
Right.
And for reference, we're all in between 27 and 29. Maybe 30. Well, why is this the commonality with me and all my black girls? Like, faithfully. Not just this group of black girls, but like so many. My closest friends, my black girlies that I've met on assignments, out, like all my black girlies that exclusively date black men are on a struggle bus. And a part of me is like, just get off the bus. Date other races. Start dating any other race. And there is something in my stomach that immediately just gets sick at that thought. I want black love. I once read this article, and it was saying how black women need to start dating outside of their race because it's not working. Like, it broke down all these statistics and all these things. And I did a poll on my Instagram story, like, would you rather date down or date down within your race? So date down with a black man. So, let go of some of your non-negotiables, a man that makes less than you, a man that, like, whatever your non-negotiables are, date down from those, or date white. And a majority of black women said they would rather date down. So what is the chokehold? Like, I myself would rather date down than date outside of my race.
So let me just say this real quick, and also too, I kind of did a little bit of editing just to kind of shut the, kind of chop the video down a little bit, because I think you get the gist from the edits that you see. I didn't take out anything that was pertinent to the conversation. The first thing that you'll hear say is that she went to brunch, right? It's her and four other girls or three other girls or whatever. She said four black females, one white female. She says the white female's in a loving, progressing relationship with a Hispanic man. And she says every time with her black female friends who exclusively date, she wanted to hammer that point home, exclusively stick to their own race and are dating black men. They're always on the struggle. I think she called it a struggle bus, struggle love or whatever. And then she even hints in the video, where I kind of chopped and fast forwarded a little bit, that, she references this article or whatever about interracial dating and encouraging black women to do so, and she's pondering. But I will say that probably what I did possibly cut out was the fact that she did say that she would rather choose to date down and stay in her race. And that's what I'm also going to talk about too, that whole term dating down that she threw out there. She said that she would rather date down in her race as opposed to, slide over with, a non-black male. And I can commend her for, wanting to work it out with, black men, work it out with our own race. I encourage everyone to do that, as most people who watch my channel know. I think that black men and women need to work out their issues. And I'm not trying to pass judgment, because I don't know what her and her three other girlfriends' issues are. But one thing is this: there's a lot of people, black people tend to, on the internet, black people tend to make everything about specifically black. I've said this before in all videos. Black. I've seen Kerry Washington say some of the stupidest things out of her mouth. I know black women are going to be triggered by that. We all say stupid stuff, and she got on stage at one of the shows at some award show. This was years ago when the whole LGBTQ thing was really popping off. Years ago when it was in its infancy. And she got on stage and she was just kind of like, LGBTQs had to fight. They get discriminated so much against, especially in the black community. We love saying that. I'm guilty of it too. I've heard a lot of other people on the internet say it too, especially in the black community. Well, this is one thing, like I was saying with Kerry Washington. I'm kind of digressing a little bit, but it's relevant. Well, Kerry, who do you think was passing anti-LGBTQ laws? It was mostly Republicans who are mostly white. It was even Republicans who got caught doing some possibly queer things that were anti-queer. White people discriminate against LGBTQ more so than any other race on planet Earth, or just as much as black. So I don't know why black people, once again, when it was that couple that went all the way to the Supreme Court, that couple that wanted that cake from that one specific bakery, and that one specific bakery said we refuse to do an LGBTQ cake, that wasn't a black bakery. So this is what black people always do. They take, because we live in a black world, which we do, because we live in our own subculture, right? White people live in their white world. They live in their own subculture. Asians do it. Latinos do it. But you don't hear them get on the internet and say, especially in the white community, especially, but we always tend to do that. So what I'm saying is this. When she's saying, especially in the black community and all of my black girlfriends, trust me, the white women are going through the same thing. Google or look on the internet, you can see white women are struggling in dating. White women are walking away from their homes, going out into the streets, doing the same thing black women are doing, just sleeping around, having fun. And then when they want to get serious, then they're mad because the guys that they want don't want them. It's the same story. So this is happening in all races. But for some reason, black people, male and female, we tend to internalize things. And trust me, I may do it in this video. So I'm not knocking her for that, but I'm just making an observation that we as black people, we tend to make things a black thing and like is only unique to black culture. So if you're four girlfriends too, if all of the black females are struggling in the dating market, she's trying to make the assumption that the black women that exclusively date black men, we are struggling in the dating market, but yet the white woman has found someone. Well, if you listen to the way she's putting it, she's making the assumption, and maybe I'm wrong, so correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but she's making the assumption that it's the black men that are, I guess, failing to commit for whatever, or the black men are the ones in error. But it's four black women that are dating black men that can't seem to get a black man to commit. So also you have to ask yourself too, and I'm not putting this all on black women, because I'm pretty sure that black men are doing some things in the dating market that's bad. But you have to ask black women as well, her and her friends that are still single, well, what kind of men are you attracting? And also, what is it like with y'all's behavior and like attitudes and other things? Because the one thing I'm hearing with these women, and you're going to see me do it in all these other videos, because I think she mentioned it in this video clip as well, they always talk about how pretty they are. Yeah, I know. What I'm looking at are average looking women, and once again, you'll hear. I've heard other men say it too, so I know I'm not wrong. Because sometimes I feel like I have a sharp tongue, like maybe I'm a little bit callous, but I know I'm not. But being average, there's nothing wrong with being average. When you're average, that just means you fit in with the norm of the population. You are the norm. You are not the exception. Tiana Taylor is probably above the exception. She is above the exception. Tika Sumpter is above the norm. She's above the norm. She is the exception. And then there are some people that fall below the norm. I'm not going to mention those names or examples, but people tend to do that. I probably am slightly below the norm. I don't know. I'm normal. Trust me. There's nothing special looking about me. But men, we don't tend to brag about how good we look. And not unless the man works on his physique, then a man will be like, my physique is nice, but women tend to think that they all think that they're all precious. Like, I hear all of these women, every time they say how pretty they are, they got to run their hand through their hair, or they got to, I'm fine. And so I'm just kind of wondering, like, who's gassing up these women? And so, men will tell you anything to sleep with you or to get a number or do whatever. But to be honest with you, you have to be realistic in saying that I can't be that fine. So I think that sometimes with some of these women, they're shooting higher, they're shooting their shot higher than what they should be. Because a lot of you'll hear women talk about this dating down, which I'm still going to get to. It's going to kind of tie in with this. But these women have to ask themselves, what are their dispositions like? What are your attitude like when you go out? Like, once again, are you cooperative? I had a black female beat me up. I did a video on it. I'll go back, check my archives. I had in my dating profile, I was looking for somebody who's cooperative and, nice and this. I just use cooperative as an adjective. And she texted me like, you sound like you're very controlling because you want somebody that's cooperative. What does cooperative mean? And we had a discussion. That's up for my other video. Go check it out. But you tend to take things the wrong way. And so sometimes you have to look at your behaviors. So you have to look at the men that you're choosing and you have to look at your behavior. I'm not the only man that's been saying this. I thought I was the only man making this one observation that I'm about to say, but I've heard a few other people make the same observation because this is what I noticed with the sisters. And trust me, I don't know about white women, so I can't tell y'all about white women. Can't tell you about Asian women. Can't tell you about Latino women. I only deal with black women. The one thing that I've seen with black women, because those are the ones I'm pursuing, those are the ones who I read about and I research on, I'm looking at dating profiles on. They'll go from wanting Idris Elba and Shamar Moore. They'll go from chasing Idris Elba and Shamar Moore down. And when Idris Elba and Shamar Moore proves that he's just either going to dog him out, just bang him and leave him, or he's not worth anything, then they just go from Idris Elba and Shamar Moore all the way to Gary Owen, to an average looking white man. They skip over a whole entire pool of average looking black men to get with a below average or average looking white man. They go from one extreme to the next. I don't make this up. And I'm glad that some guys have started noticing that same trend. So the point that I'm making is this with this comment is that it proves my previous post correctly. If you go back and check my archives, I said black people don't find each other attractive. We don't like each other. We like the top 10%, like we like the top 10% of our opposite gender. Black women like the top 10% of black men, and then the rest they're like, I'd rather date a gorilla, or I'd rather date a daggone hyena, or I'd rather just die alone than be with the rest of them other black men. I don't like the way they look. Well, I'm just gonna go ahead and get me a white man. And it's worked similarly with black men. Black men look at probably not 10%, we'll look at 40% of the black women and we'll say those are the ones we like. And then the other 60, we're like, nah, I can't deal with them. And those reasons are because of weight issues, appearance issues, pretty much. You're either below average looking, or your weight is off. You have a cute face, but your body is not right. And unfortunately, like I said, I'm in my 40s. I'm 45. When you get into this age range, what I've been noticing, because trust me, I shoot my shot at a lot of people, specifically on dating apps. And dating apps is all about looks. No one's choosing people for personalities or this, that, or the third. The thing I've noticed is even the women that are 47, 49, I even go as high as 51, 52, I think. All of those women that I look at, they're chunky, they're thick, but they label themselves as curvy. They, like I said, once again, women have a much more positive opinion about themselves than what they actually are. It's not realistic. They'll label themselves thick, curvy, but they're just chunky. And these same women will look at you and be like, I'm way above him. And it reflects in comments that they write like, before you contact me, look at me and look at you and make sure it makes sense. And that's what you see on a lot of the sisters' pages. I'm not checking for white women. Maybe white women are writing this crazy stuff too. But so it's like, for a guy, how am I supposed to approach you? If you're coming with that kind of attitude right off the break, that kind of energy, it kind of makes me want to say, do I even want to be bothered with somebody like this? If she's talking like this on her page, is this how she thinks? I don't want to deal with somebody like that. And I'm looking at somebody that's not even all that. So with with this woman that I'm looking at here, like I said, she's cute, but she's I'm not taking anything away from her, but she still falls in the average range. You're still falling in the average range. And by the way, she did an update video and she looks totally different. Like when you look at her update video, if anyone has seen her, she has on some glasses, look like she got 3 shades darker. She looks total. I didn't know it was the same woman, but she's still, in both videos, she's still average. She's still average looking. And so that's why I'm trying to question them as far as, what do you think, if you four are single, maybe it's the stuff on your end. Maybe it's your behavior. Maybe it's your looks and he just wanted you for a good time and you didn't properly vet that because you think that your standard, you can attract a higher, better looking guy. And then that better looking guy just looks at you as a toy to consume and then put away. So the final point that I'm going to make on this video too is, before I move on to just want her talk about divesting once again, but I'm getting back to the point of when she talks about the standards and dating, like she said she'd rather date down. And she's posed this question to other black females. Would you rather date down in your race or date up out of your race? And she said she'd rather date down. So the question, this is a $100 million question I have for women that basically say this. Specifically, I'm talking to black women because this is who I hear this from. Maybe white women are saying it too. If you're saying this too, white women, drop your comment in there. Asian women too. The question is this. When you say date down, what is dating down to you? What are the characteristics that you're qualifying as being dating down? So let me give you an example. When they say guys date down, because we all hear that women date up, guys date down, women are hypergamous. You hear these terms. I hate these terms, but I have to use that term because it does simplify the construct. But they say women date down, women date up, men date down. When we say we date down, we're talking in terms of, we date down in terms of finances. She makes less than me. I make more. That's dating down. We're talking in terms of age. She's younger than me. I'm older. That's dating down to us. We're talking, I have more assets. I have a higher net worth. She has a lower one. That's dating down to us. We're looking at it from that perspective. What are women looking? Are you using the same attributes as far as net worth, salary, maybe education? I forgot that one too, because men are like, as far as education, I don't even think we use that as a qualifier. But we wouldn't use that as a qualifier to say date down or date up. But are y'all using education? Is that your term for dating down? Or is your term for dating down how he looks? Because men don't use that. We don't use looks as a term to date because men already automatically assume, we're just men. We don't judge ourselves and say, yeah, I look way better than my girl. We don't look at it like that. We don't look at it and be like, yeah, I look way better than my girl. I'm dating down. Well, I'm dating up. She look way better than me. We don't look at it from that perspective. So when you say, for this female that says she's dating down with black men, are you taking in terms of, okay, he doesn't have the body that I want him to have. I want him to be built like Idris Elba, but he's built slightly like Ice Cube. Is that you're dating down? Or I want him to look like Shamar Moore, but he looks like I don't know. I can't name anybody. Maybe just some average dude. Bokeem Woodbine. I don't know. Is that dating down? I'm not saying that Bokeem's a bad looking brother. I'm just doing comparisons. What is your qualifier? Or are you using the same financial qualifiers? Because my thing is, I don't think that this goes back to what I mean that black men and black women don't like each other. We've gotten to the point where black people, we look at each other, we look and we say that only probably about a select few of us are in elite shape. Because I told y'all, women, these women that are chunky and big and they fat, they're really fat, but they want to call themselves thick, but they're chunky. They want men that are built like Idris. They think that any other a man with more than 8% body fat on him is not desirable, and if he doesn't have muscles on him, he's not desirable. If he's just a bare, flat chested, or he's just, he doesn't have enough muscles and he's skinny, or he's plump, that he's not a man, and that they all deserve Idris Elba or Shamar Moore. I'm just being honest with you. And these women have 30 and 40% body fat on them, 20% body fat on them or more. So I'm just trying to figure out, what does she mean when she says dating down? Are you talking about dating down in terms, because women don't seem like it seems like they break all of their rules for looks in a man with a nice body. They don't say, okay, well, you know what, this man right here, I'm just talking about this woman in this car with these four black friends. What kind of man are you dating? Is it that this man is, oh, girl, he's slightly low plump, he's a little chubby on him, but he goes to school, he comes from a great family, his parents are still together, he looks like he's trying to go somewhere in life, he has a steady job, he seems like a nice guy, boom, 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 boom. But I'm going to date down because he's a little chunky or he's a little plump. I want to know what your definition of dating down is. And I know I used a lot of words to explain that, but sorry, not sorry. And then finally, once again, you have women want to bring up this whole divesting thing. I've already told y'all about this. Once again, you're reading these newspapers, and these newspapers will convince you to do anything. They'll convince you to buy a house in the worst area or part of town. Do you know how many? Listen, I follow the stock market every day, and if anybody's familiar with the Motley Fool, which I look at all the time, everybody writes an article that says here are the 5 stocks that you need to throw your money into right now. Here's the 3 best robotic stocks that you need to invest in. Here's the 1 AI stock you need to own. They'll always give you an article like that, and then somebody's going to go out, read this article, and just start buying up these stocks because the article told them to. The article can't predict anything. They're just writing stories just to put content on their website. So once again, when you're reading an article from some white person that's telling you, or even some black person that's telling you to date interracially because it'll work out for you, once again, I keep telling y'all, there's not enough data from black women marrying white men, because black women don't get married. They very rarely get married. And I'm not throwing a shot at y'all. This is a fact. So once again, once the numbers came out on the lesbian divorce rate, and it's the highest they top black men and black women, white men, white women. I think they have the highest divorce rate. I think it was 77% or something like that. So, or 79%. But those numbers are just starting to be tracked because those statistics are just coming out. Once you start seeing more and more interracial relationships, and you start seeing these white men, if you can look at it right now, look at the rate that white men are breaking up with black women. Travis Kelce, I keep giving the same examples. Travis Kelce, Halle Berry, Garcelle Bouvier, she done had 4 white men done leave her. Tamar Braxton, she can't keep her man in check. You have all of these stories that are just going around, and not only are these men leaving, they're getting alimony from these black women too. So once again, you can read these articles and they'll tell you to do X, Y, and Z, but I'm telling y'all, the stats, you don't have enough sample size population. Once you start learning about Statistics, anybody that's taking statistics, you know, you have to have the appropriate sample size population. You have to know what that standard deviation of error is going to be, whether it's you're going to be plus or minus 5 points correct, 10 points off. You have to know this type of stuff. You have to, and they don't have the numbers because black women don't marry out interracially that much. It's not better on the dating scene. Go check. You can go look at the white videos online. There's white red pill. White men have been getting mail order brides from Kazakhstan and Ukraine and all of these places, from Russia and then from the Philippines. They've been doing this stuff way before black men even thought about becoming passport bros. White men have been doing this since the 80s, 90s probably. Black men have just started catching on to being like, okay, I got to go outside the country and get me a non-westernized woman. So that's just my little comments. Well, there's been a lot of comments I done made about this video. But I wish her well in her search, but also too, you have to do some internal reflection. I've done internal reflection on myself too. You know, you have to say, and you have to be honest with yourself. And that's one thing too. Unfortunately, I don't think that a lot of women are. A lot of women aren't honest with one another. Not unless y'all are honest behind closed doors. But what we hear women tell other women is, girl, you're a beautiful girl. You go, you do your thing. You the baddest thing I've ever seen. And they just pump each other up. And, you know, for me, on the flip side, when, you know, I get, like I said, when I don't get my hits, the only thing I can do is be like, oh, well, I got to drink more water. Today I got to do this. Today I got to do that. I got to work out here. I got to do that. I got to do that because I got to get down because I know that this is what the women want. You know, even though they look, you know, even though their body isn't in better shape than mine, I still got to be in top shape because I know what the women are expecting. I know what they want, even though I think a lot of them don't deserve it because a lot of them aren't in a position of health to try and judge me on my health. But that's another topic for another time. But this is the Political Brown Kid. Drop your comments in there and also hit the like and subscribe button. I'm out of here.